Welcome back to our final episode of our mini lecture series Jump the Gap, Why We All Need a Sustainability Mindset. Thank you very much for accompanying me to this stage. I really appreciate that you are listening to this and follow this journey. So now, final session. What we want to do is we want to wrap up all our learnings and see how can we change, or what if we change. We discussed already. We have to act locally in our community, in our place, but we have to be open and think globally in what are the impacts we have on a global scale. And we definitely need to change. We know this. It's adamant, and you can't spell challenge without change. And we all must be prepared to change how we live. And this is quite positive. This is not negative, because we know change is inevitable. So if you take action in your change, you are directing your own journey, and this is a very positive element in life. So, and we all know we need to reconnect with nature, and for everyone this will be a personal story, a personal journey. And every one of us knows, if they are in a place like this here in the woodland that is abundant with life and with biodiversity, you are feeling happy and content. It's really good for your health, for your mental health, for your well-being, because humans for most of their history were part of nature, and we still are part of nature. We are not disconnected, even if we believe we are disconnected in modern civilization, but we aren't. And you need to find a way to reconnect with nature that works for you. For myself, I really reconnect by this young fellow here that you see, and this is a robin. And for me, the robin was the first really strong connection to nature that came back in my life unexpectedly. Because I have a garden and I have a residential pair of robins that came to my garden, and these are I really enjoy these little birds. And it really touches me. Robins are very territorial. They know 200 different songs, and their song is just beautiful. And now wherever I go, I hear robins around me, and it immediately connects me with nature. And this is always very positive. In the morning when I brush my teeth in the bathroom, I open the window and I listen to the bird songs, and I'm immediately and deeply connected to nature. So, and this is just the first step, and then you follow and you learn more, and you are then more deeply connected wherever you are. And this is my personal journey, and I have to thank the robin for this. I really adore these birds, and now I've learned so many bird songs that I can identify many birds around me wherever I am, and I feel completely connected. And this is the first step to rebuild your reconnection with nature. Thank you, Robin. Luckily, they are also smart. I have 4 cats in my garden, but they are smart enough to stay out of their reach. So, okay. Now, if we reconnect with nature, how can we move forward in a positive way? And this can be quite complicated in some kinds. We can do this, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. But at the end of the day, if you want to move forward in a positive way, you can really cut this down to just be a good community member, make positive changes, be careful and caring for others, and just behave responsibly. And then you are moving in the right direction. Just do something positive for others, and then you are on the right track. And this is really nicely reflected for me in the permaculture ethics. Yeah? The permaculture or permanent culture is a philosophy of working with rather than against nature, of protracted and thoughtful observations rather than protracted and thoughtless labor, and looking at plants and animals in all their functions rather than treating any area as a single product system. And the underlying ethics for everything you do in permaculture, and this can be for city design, this can be for garden and farm design, or for ecosystem restoration, yeah, 3 core principles: care of the earth, care of people, and fair share. And if this is a foundation ethics we use as guidance, you are on the right track, I believe. You can't do anything wrong. And I love this book here about permaculture. This is Gaia's Garden from one of the leading permaculture designer. And here it's really summarized. Again, these 3 principles: earth care, the idea that a person's action will not harm or deplete the earth, but will instead maintain or better improve the health of the ecosystem, so taking care of earth. Then people care is exactly the same level of importance. The idea that a person's action should not harm other people, but instead contribute to the development of a healthy community. So how you interact with your community members. And importantly, fair share or fair care. The idea that every person should strive to limit their consumption so they use only the fair share of resources and do not exploit surpluses, with the end goal that other people in future generations have enough resources to live healthy and abundant lives as well. So just take as much of the resources you need to live a fulfilled and secure and happy and healthy life, and make all the other resources available to the community as well. And looking at this fundamental ethics, I believe this is giving us already quite a good guidance for how we can shape our life, how we can develop our sustainability mindset and move forward. Yeah, and you can apply this in very, very different directions and different aspects. That you would be surprised how diverse the actions are that you can take. Yeah, quite advanced in this is the Japanese society, because they have still this very fundamental connection to nature. And one element I really enjoy to learn about is this here, Chinju no Mori. Yeah, it's translated where the gods dwell, and this is a perception that you can regenerate nature or preserve nature in very small places. And there is now a Miyawaki method to restore forests. Yeah, and Dr. Akariya Miyawaki is a Japanese botanist and ecologist who developed this technology to regenerate very small spaces everywhere, to regenerate forests. And he has observed that around religious shrines in Japan, that are quite small places, you have still a very intact old forest ecosystem, because these places were protected and cared for by the people. And you can replicate this type of mini ecosystems by intentionally planting in a similar way small forests. And this is really a worldwide a movement now that is being translated into the tiny forest movement. And tiny forests are probably only a couple of 30 square meter, 100 of square meter, or only 6 square meter, where you have a functioning ecosystem in your garden, in your community, in urban areas. And I particularly like the YouTube videos here from the Toyota engineer developing the tiny forest methods, and it has been established in Europe by in the Netherlands quite frequently by Dan Bleichroth, and you can download a handbook on forest regeneration, and you can create a tiny forest in your place, on the school ground, in your community, in your urban park, and it can have every size, but it's a blueprint to to regenerate a forest or plant a forest on speed, that establishing a fully functional ecosystem on very short time. So this is one element how you can approach this. Yeah. Or you can have really government action on large scale, like we have seen in China, to restore entire landscapes and contribute to this. And here's an example from the Tigray region in Ethiopia, where this was a treeless, desertified landscape, and within a generation it has been transformed into woodlands and woodland pastures and grassland again. So these changes are available on scale. Or you can have changes on a community scale. For example, in this example you see an urban waterway in Manila in the Philippines. It's completely polluted with plastics that people have thrown there just in their waterway. And it's a very bleak neighborhood. People are living there. It's a high dense population. And by intention, people made the decision, no, we don't want to live this way. We want to restore this waterway, and we want to restore our community. And they have cleaned up the space, and they have regenerated the channel with floating habitats and plants, and have restored fishes in there. And now they are living in a very healthy, nice, green and vibrant natural environment just in the center of the city. So this is community action on slightly larger scale. Or another example from San Francisco, here from the Zavadoya farm, where there's a community farm that started 2014 in this completely barren and compacted plot within a suburban residential area. And within 2 years they transformed this into a thriving and productive community garden, putting community together in one place, sharing action and activities and resources to grow vegetables and fruits for the local community within 2 years. So this is all individual and group action making big changes, and really also contributing positive to how people are feeling about their actions and how they move forward together as a community. Or you do it individually, yeah? Like me, I try to plant as many insect and bee friendly plants in my garden as I can just cramp in every space, and then I enjoy every little insect bee coming in summer and finding food in my place. And I take quite a lot of personal happiness out just being able to observe this abundance in my own garden. So there are very, very many different pathways to move forward, and this gives you endless opportunity to engage and to make your own contribution, to meet with like-minded people, to build communities, and have really a joyful journey. So in some elements that I believe for me were really helpful, I really enjoyed on my way of discovery of sustainability. I just quickly wanted to share here at the end. So I was listening quite frequently, and I'm listening to Green Dreamer. This is a podcast that explores different pathways to collective healing, ecology, and abundance and wellness. And they have practitioners across the world doing already all this type of activities in society, in community, in nature, in agriculture, and they are having really very thoughtful podcasts to look at, and they are really mind-blowing to challenging, and I learned quite a lot of different perspectives of this. And also most of you probably have a mobile phone with you, and this gives you every knowledge about nature at your fingertip if you go out. So I have two apps that I use daily, and one is PlantNet. Yeah, and PlantNet is a citizen science project identifying all type of plants around the world in different ecosystems. And you just point your camera on a plant and you say identify based on flower, leaves or other characteristics, and it recognizes the plant for you and gives you lots of information about the plant. Yeah, so in our Victorian garden here it's college, I've seen now so many plants from all over the world that I have identified, and it's really a great way to contribute to community efforts in mapping different plant species. And what I really enjoy is a BirdNet app. Yeah, and with BirdNet app you can just take a recording of a bird song, and it will analyze it for you and will tell you what bird you're just listening to, and it will give you additional information. It also gives you the bird songs. So what I do regularly, a little bit cheeky, yeah, I've identified a bird song, and then I play back from my phone the bird song to the bird singing, and they are responding to this. So it makes me always chuckle a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But no, these are ways you can connect immediately with nature. You observe something, you get curious, and you get information about it, and this is a knowing. And if you know something, so for example, this is not a weed, but this is this particular plant. If you know this, yeah, then you start thinking about it. If you are thinking about this, then you start caring for it. And if you care for something, then you protect it. So this is just the way, starting with observations and knowing and caring and protection, we need to go as individuals and as society. So with any further ado, I will come to an end now. Please just remind, you can make a change, yeah, for yourself, for your friends, family, for your community, and you can make big changes. So yeah, I really like this diagram, this picture. If many little people in many little places do many little things, they can change the face of the earth. Yeah, only with people applying change we will get change in any meaningful way we require in the first place. And you see this with lots of young people now coming out and protesting and supporting this with Friday for Futures. There are also already millions of people out there that restore nature, restore communities, and regenerate nature. There's lots of positive change out there. It's not really prominent in the media, but this is already happening. And being part of this, or trying to be part of this, will really empower all of us, and let's move forward in a very positive way. And I believe this is a good point to end, and I hope we all can reflect on this as part of Earth Day 2022 and try to make small changes on our path forward to a sustainable future and an abundant and thriving nature and communities. Thank you very much for listening and sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it. Take care and have a lovely day wherever you are. Thank you.